Thanks for joining me, lovely Aries. This is your time, isn't it? This is your reading for this week, leading up to the Aries new moon on the 11th. Excuse the kitchen landscape here, but I've got all my work in progress on the other side here, so I just had to change the position of the readings today. But so let's get stuck into it. We are doing a shortened Celtic cross again. Let's see, for beautiful Aries, we start with the central point and work our way through. I'll just get a few cards to begin with. And thank you again for joining me. Okay, so we come off, we start off here today with some big guns, really. Central point, we're looking at central point, the basis of this, what's past for you, beautiful Aries, what's happening right now, moving forward, and then we'll get a journey map card, Pixie and Fairy, at the end. Central point, we're looking like we're working kind of hard. We've been perfecting something over the last month, over the last 12 months maybe. The Eight of Discs is a card of perfecting a skill, of working hard, of working away at something, very focused, in a very focused manner. The 8 here, the 8 of Discs, we see the little flowers and they're quite protected. So the product of all this focus, this working away, you are wanting to protect it in its early phase. Crossing the 8 of Discs, and we wouldn't like to think that we were workaholics or anything like that. This is about crafting something, about shaping something, is what I get here. We get the lovely, excuse the, I think it's next door, the lawnmower person. Crossing the 8 of Discs, we get the Prince of Cups. It's a very emotional card. He is moving. Look, don't give up. Don't get distracted at this point. There is a potential with the Prince of Cups but I don't think that's an issue for you, to get lost in the reflection. You see, he holds this cup and he can be sort of periodically looking down into it. Yeah, it's with the 8 of Discs and the Prince of Cups, I would say, it could be a work project that is actually to do with, like, this is an emotional work project, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of emotional athletics going on here in terms of crafting. Crafting this. The basis of this situation for you, lovely Aries, is the beautiful Hierophant. This is a process that's bigger than what you think, or that you don't see the huge benefits of it yet. At some point in recent times, you've had access to some new information in regards, I believe, to yourself, largely. The Hierophant is about esoteric information. It's about information for you only. Doesn't mean it's not shared outward, but it is information for you, and I do believe the key was given because you were ready, and somehow this information morphed itself into a working, very work-focused situation. Anyway, let's keep going. We'll keep the momentum going. What is recently past for beautiful Aries here? The recent past, what's behind you? Wow. Yeah, and maybe it has been, there is, it's an, oh, I feel a bit tongue-tied today. It's an emotional project. It's an emotional working. What's past is this gift. Clearly you're utilizing this. This is the Ace of Cups. An incredible offering of emotional bounty coming to you. I would see it in this reading thus far as something to do with the Hierophant as the basis of this situation. It's actually a renaissance of sorts, of you discovering, finding that you can utilize certain emotional aspects of yourself, actually, which is interesting for such a fiery, straight off the blocks kind of Aries person, you know. I mean, I'm not saying that you're disconnected from your emotions and whatsoever. I'm just saying as an elemental kind of scenario that this is quite watery, and it is centered around work. Current position for beautiful Aries. It would appear that, I mean, you have been given something amazing. Wow. Current position, the Lovers pops out. The beautiful Lovers, a card of synthesis, integration. I do think in your life right now, and remember that these readings will not resonate for everybody. They're very general. But you have somehow managed to create a balance in your life between what is a wonderful skill and quality that you possess as focus and direction. You've managed to balance this with your emotional needs as well. I do believe this. The Lovers is a card of choice, and it is also a card of balance. Ultimately, there's a synthesis in this card, there's an integration, and I do believe that you've integrated this action-packed aspect of yourself with your emotional center. Moving forward for lovely Aries, please. Wow! Moving forward, we will clarify a few of these. Sorry, I might have to shut the windows in a minute. Getting a bit noisy. Moving forward, let's ground ourselves here. All of this work, you know, brings us, Aries, to this point where we're making a decision. We are making a choice and a decision based on our intuitive faculties. Now, we're in a really strong position because with the Two of Swords, the Two is all about choice. The Swords is a mind card, but in the Two of Swords, we see a new moon. Hello. And we see a figure basing their choice, their decision, what direction they want to go in, based on their internal compass here. You are in a strong position. Here we have, the Emperor. You're very strong here. You're very confident about your own emotional landscape. It's really good. It's really good. Beautiful Aries. Now, let's clarify a little bit here today. Let's clarify. Let's look at the Lovers. The Lovers, of course, it can be about relationships. It can be about a significant other in its most, simplest form. But the Lovers, there is a synthesis and a sort of amalgamation, integration. We see the exchange of vows. We see a morphing, male, female, black, white, you know, the integration, the dualities, understanding each other very well here. Can we have a look at the Lovers, please? Can we look at the Lovers? And this is in the current position for you, Aries, today. The Lovers. So the Hierophant, the basis, is some kind of magical information that you were ready to receive. And I often look at the Hierophant. I often look at the Hierophant as a kind of how it presents itself is your inner guidance, as a download, as a kind of spiritual download. Moving forward, this decision is a lot to do with this being the basis of the situation. To clarify the Lovers, we get the ultimate happy home card. We get the Four of Wands, the beautiful Four. This is like ultimate happy home. Look, you're comfortable in this. Whether it's to do with this integration of the physical with material, with the emotional, with balancing out, you know, balancing those two things out. You're at a really harmonious position. We move forward. We'll get a card moving forward. You know, we're double 11s here. It could be a case of a romantic attachment as well, a realization. A realization here. And that someone maybe has seen how hard you actually work emotionally, I mean. Do you know what I mean? As we move forward with the Two of Swords, the decision based on your intuition and what you've learnt through accepting the Hierophant's key, you were ready for that anyway. There's a big outpouring of emotion in this reading. It feels to me. Two of Swords, please. And I just hear, let's not get swept away in the reverie of this. I do hear that. I don't know why. The Two of Swords, this decision, we have the Knight of Cups. To me, it does feel like a kind of relationship read. You know, the Knight, yeah, sure, he's not a king or she. Gender's not important. But it is a full cup and it is an offering and it's in motion. I mean, knights move, you know, are moving. Don't get stuck. Here is just what I hear. Don't get stuck with the Emperor. The Emperor at his highest polarity is wonderful, benevolent father figure. Oh, look, there's a fatherly thing in here. There's a relationship thing in here. Let's just see. This ace. Now, this is behind you, but the aces reverberate to the extent that we're getting the Lovers. We're getting the Four of Wands. We're getting a Knight. Maybe it is a decision to be made, a decision moving forward in regards to an offering here. This is what it looks like. Ace of Cups, that was just behind you, but its energy and its form will take time to become apparent to you, is what I'm getting. Yeah, you have had to amalgamate. You've had to utilize both mind and heart here. We get, to clarify that, we get the Queen of Swords with that, to clarify that gift of bounty. of emotional bounty. It's very interesting, Aries. Let's just get a journey map card. Get a journey map. Actually, no, we won't. I just want to see. I just want to see if we can. The Hierophant. The Hierophant is the basis of this entire situation. The Hierophant reveal here. Speak of. I think there's a level of new trust. I think there's a level of new trust, and if that be trusting yourself, but also trusting another person. Okay, so we get the we get the Knight of Swords. We get the Knight of Swords. This is clarity. This is discernment. This is righting wrongs, is what I hear. And rebalancing things. Rebalancing the scales is what I feel, just looking at that with the Hierophant. This is deserved and has been a long time coming, dear Aries, is what I sense for you today. Excuse me. Snotty nose. Let's just get, far too many cards. Journey map. We get a journey map card, a pixie and fairy, and a little star card to top your reading off. Beautiful Aries, I hope you're having a fabulous day. Oh my goodness. Let's just keep going. I haven't shuffled them enough. Wait for something to pop out. Wow. This is a big deal for you, Aries. Whatever's going on here, how can I be that specific and say it's a big deal? Well, I can say it's a big deal because we get two journey maps coming out. This is, it's very hard sometimes. With the Hierophant, we go into, or we receive information that maybe was always there for us, but we couldn't sort of figure it out for ourselves. Do you know what I mean? And then we get given this key, and then we understand it. We see the pieces of this jigsaw. We see and understand how they fit into place and connect. I don't want to lose my train of thought here. This is a big deal because we're dealing with the emotions, we're dealing with practical matters and the mind and the rational mind as well. It is a big deal because with the journey map we get this funny little face, the questioning. There's a portal in this card where in the past, to describe this card succinctly, in the past we've always had our recipe book that we open up and we look through. All right, so I'm asking questions here. I'm making decisions here. I have a recipe book that I know from past experience that if I do this, I'll come out with this. I know this because this is my historical recipe book for questioning. But in the questioning, we see when we're prepared to ask different questions, and maybe we're prepared to come to conclusions based on not just our historical habits, like our rational mind, maybe, that we're asking questions and looking for the answers in our intuitive sense, our intuitive self, it means that we enter this new portal and suddenly we don't just have a recipe book. We have this huge area. It's like a giant feast. It's like a smorgasbord. It's like 150 Bain Maries laid out in front of us. We realize that our options, our choices are so much, bring in so many new things and are so far more vast than what they were before when we were just making choices in a predictable, rational, what we felt was rational. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with being rational, but this is about being intuitive, especially when the Two of Swords comes into the equation. This takes us into this new portal where anything is possible, dear Aries. Anything is possible, and if this blows your mind, you know, we get the card of eruption. This incredible, what's on the other side of this portal when we start to ask new questions, it kind of blows our grey matter, fusing, charging new connectors suddenly start to charge up. We get this card of eruption, which is really explosive and maybe initially scary and difficult, but we realize at the end of it, we have this incredible clarity. Right? And this clarity came about as much to do not only with our rational mind, asking new questions, but allowing this gift of emotional bounty to come through. I mean, this is incredible, Aries. It feels really charged. And that, I can't not look at these cards and not suggest that you are upping your levels of mastery in your own psyche, in your own emotional landscape. You're really upping your levels of mastery here. It is quite amazing, beautiful Aries. Let's just get a journey. Not a journey map. Let's get a Pixie and Fairy, beautiful Fairy Oracle by Brian Froud. They're really delightful cards. For lovely Aries, please. Just one card to sort of sum it up. I'll just get one more. One popped out. One card, Pixies and Fairy. All right. To sum it up. Get a whole kit and caboodle coming out then. But we have got two cards. We have two. The first card, the undressing of a salad. How cool is that, isn't it? Juggling so many. I mean, you work really hard, Aries. Juggling so many balls at once. And all these balls are kind of interrelational. Like they're all having a conversation with each other. It's like if I drop one ball, like all of them will it just ruins the configuration. It's exhausting, though. We can do it for a period of time. We do it for a period of time. We understand. But in the same breath, I think you've reached a balance. Like there's a harmony and there's a balance and there's a dynamism about the undressing of a salad. Now, what we got with that too is this beautiful card, Sylvanus. She takes away the mask of truth to reveal the truth. And the truth, we see, there's the sword, single sword in repose here. There's a wonderful clarity in this card. And we see Sylvanus's sacral area, the navel, lit up like a star. There's definitely this whole scenario for you, beautiful Aries, I do feel is in relation not only to upping your own ante, but in relation to your relationship with someone else that's quite significant for you and to you. It's really beautiful. God, I love Sylvanus of the Forest, revealing the mask of truth, to reveal the truth. It's like letting down a guard. We'll get a wee star card, of course. We get Ace, truth, clarity, discernment. This is a very airy card. But we've got so many swords in here. But you know where you're at and you know where you're going, dear Aries. And this new moon in your sign, in your beautiful sign, we see it in this card at the top, at the top here of the two swords. We see that new moon. I think this is a really special time for you. And thank you. I hope this finds you well. Thanks for tuning into the Lightroom forecast. And we'll see you next time round. Do check out your, if you know what things are in your chart, astrological chart, do check out your moon, Venus, Jupiter, and ascendant signs as well. Thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe. It always helps me to keep this going. But do take good care. Take wonderful care this week, Aries. Thank you so much. Cheery.